Hello and welcome everybody to a brand new video. We're going to be talking about the Rick and Morty starter set for Dungeons & Dragons. We're coming in with another Thursday product review, and if you're not ready for big Rick energy, then buckle up. So the first thing in our packaging today is going to be the Dungeon Master's screen, which is actually really cool that they include in a starter set. For starter sets, they're obviously meant for the Dungeon Master, not for anybody who's a player, which is something that could be really cool for people to try to think of a starter set for players. But we've got some really cool designs. What we've got here so far is wall-to-wall good stats that you pretty much need whenever you're a Dungeon Master. If you've opened up any of the D&D Dungeon Master screens before, you've probably seen exactly this. I will say though, for $30 they could have included a real Dungeon Master screen, kind of like this right here. It's only $10 on Amazon. It's got the exact same chart, but it's just so much more solid and it'll work way better. Next up is my absolute favorite thing, a part of this starter set, the dice. We have 11 polyhedral dice, which is going above and beyond, by the way. 6, you're failing. 7, you did what's expected. 11, I love ya. And it's actually so crazy how well these match Rick and Morty themes in general. If I was gonna make a small tweak, I might include enough dice for everybody, because dice sets for $1, even if they're not super cool and custom like this, you can get 7 polyhedral dice for like $1, and all you need is 5 or 6 sets for a starter set. Next up, we've got, wait a minute, this isn't part of the starter set. Both of the comic books by Rick and Morty. And if you guys do want to see me review these at the end, I'll put that right at the very end, but if not, just skip the last minute or two. It's up to you. Next in the box, we've got the rule book. This bad boy is actually put together very well. I'm not a fan of the graphing paper cover. I wish they would have went something a little more reference to this art style that they've stuck with everything else. But I tell you what, y'all, the effort that was put into this type of book is just immaculate. You've got pictures, different types of blurbs that are like flavor text that literally Rick would say. So you've got something out here that says, "That's just my opinion, Morty. Well, Wizards of the Coast doesn't say that anywhere. That's just me." Like, this is cool and interesting, and it'll actually get somebody to learn and read all of the rules so that way you can play the game. Something like this should be done over and over and over again for all of the starter sets, essential kits, anything like that. This has flavor, and it'll teach you too. Next up, we've got character sheets. And these character sheets are pretty cool, but they are kind of different, but I appreciate the fact that they are. It's color printed, so you've got your greens and everything else. You've got a portrait of the little person that you are, and it's got a decent description of what you need on the back, just like the rest of the starter sets. But something like this to give to your player, especially if it's their first time playing, is amazing. It gives you a little bit of something to draw you in. You're actually gonna want to read and see what's up on your sheet. And another cool thing is they put the personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws right at the top, just to give you a little bit extra roleplay ability with your character sheets. You got 5 of these bad boys, and another cool thing about it is it's callbacks from the Rick and Morty comic book. So you could actually play your favorite character if you wanted to, if you've read the book. The last thing in the box, y'all, is gonna be the adventure. And no, of course, I'm not gonna spoil it here for you, but they have an immaculate art style in here, and they follow it the whole way through the book. This is supposed to be geared as like the super hard dungeon crawl, or like Rick is supposed to be geared as like the old school dungeon master, gonna make sure everybody dies. But that's just the way that it reads. It's more or less just a normal kind of Dungeons and Dragons game. You may find yourself a little underpowered if you use the pre-made characters and you're missing a couple of people, but as far as I can tell, it's pretty well balanced, especially for someone who's new. Here is one thing that I do always like to point out for any box set. We've got the advertisement sheet. This is always going to be a missed opportunity in my opinion. There is absolutely nothing linking me to D&D Beyond or to purchase a similar product other than the Rick and Morty books, which is pretty cool. But at the same time, there should be a QR code that gives me a D&D Beyond skin, or something that gives me the skin for these dice as well. Literally anything that says, hey, I'm a member and I've bought your product, so this is how I can express that I've bought your product online. Anything like that. And so, the moment some of you have been waiting for, and the moment some of you can't wait to skip. We're going to be talking about the 2 comic books, and I'm going to try my best not to spoil anything for somebody who wants to actually read these. Link in the description, by the way. Not an affiliate link, but it will help you get there. So when you're reading this, it's really cool that it inputs a lot of Rick and Morty lore into the story. You're gonna see things like the portal gun, the Roy machines, different kind of key things like a Meeseeks from Rick and Morty that gets to be implanted into your game that gets to be really fun, especially if everyone gets the reference. The story is a basic story of Rick being fed up with normal Dungeons and Dragons, and he's gonna show the family what it's really like to play. They get in a bunch of different shenanigans over and over again, and I'll tell you what, it's not a bad episode. If they actually did make it into a live Rick and Morty episode, I feel like it might get a decent amount of views. And another thing that I think is actually really cool and kind of like a little Easter egg for this specific Dungeons and Dragons starter set, all of the character sheets are in the very back of the book. You might not be able to see that very well, but I'll tell you, that was a blank sheet. We've got these 2 right here that actually shows a lot better of what I was trying to say. That's level 6 characters, and these character sheets only take you, I believe, to level 3, maybe even 5. So it's just the aftermath of what this adventure was, so you can read what your character has been up to. It's got great artwork, very consistent with Rick and Morty, with Easter eggs all over. They really do take their time when they make a product, and a second comic book to boot, I gotta say, it's a great read, and you guys should check it out if you get the chance. Especially if you're gonna buy this starter set. I will bring up, though, that Dungeons & Dragons has recently lost the copyright for this set, so make sure you get it as fast as you can because it will not be around forever. But hey, that's just my 2 cents about the starter set for Rick and Morty Dungeons & Dragons. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, we're gonna do our new tradition of opening up a new booster box. Alright everybody, so it was actually a pretty decent haul. I don't have anything that I had before, and we ended up getting the Pack Mule, a Goliath Warrior, kinda scary, arachnophobes warning, a giant wolf spider, kinda gotta hold it up like that, upside down for you to see it, right? And then afterwards, this one's really, really cool. I've got a dire troll. I've never even heard about that one before, but it's a 2-headed, 4-headed, 7-armed thing over here. Quite the scary monster. And if I remember, I'll try to put the close-up for these guys down over here. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later. Like, comment, subscribe.